And their estimates always include labor, materials, and applicable permits and taxes. Collins Siding has been providing top quality service and exceeding high standards for over 45 years, and you can find out how by visiting them at 2016 Cherry Avenue. Collins Siding, 2016 Cherry Avenue, Rapid City.
At Black Hills Federal Credit Union, we are committed to improving the lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
Sometimes it's just a whoops, sometimes it's a oh no, and sometimes it's an all-out ah! Whatever it is, J&J Truck and Auto Body can take care of it with traditional methods or paintless dent repair because they are a PPG certified and iCar Gold class shop with ASE certified technicians. Plus, they work with your insurance company, saving you time. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
J&J Truck and Auto Body, 100% guaranteed.
Where can you get surprisingly great rates on auto and renter's insurance? At State Farm. I'm State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, and I'm your one-stop shop in Rapid City for protecting your car and your stuff for surprisingly great rates. So stop looking around. Call me, State Farm Agent Matt McCormick, for surprisingly great auto and renter's rates today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to State Farm underwriting requirements.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM. Fox Sports Rapid City.
What you need to know.
The Cleveland Browns today named Joe Flacco their starting quarterback. Los Angeles Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford practiced today for the first time since the start of training camp as he recovers from a back injury. Green Bay Packers quarterback Jordan Love returned to practice today, 6 days after undergoing surgery on his left thumb, which is on his non-throwing hand. NFL media reports Washington Commanders running back Brian Robinson will not play in tonight's preseason game against the Bengals by mutual decision, raising the possibility of him being traded or released. NFL media also just reporting the Miami Dolphins signing veteran pass rusher Matthew Judon to a one-year deal. In Major League Baseball, the Philadelphia Phillies announced that pitcher Zach Wheeler underwent successful surgery today to remove a blood clot in his right arm. On the field today, the Milwaukee Brewers beat the Chicago Cubs 7-0 at Wrigley Field in the first game of a doubleheader. I'm Isaac Lowenkron.
It's time for South Dakota's Sports Talk Show. This is the Nate Brown Show, featuring live callers, great interviews, and thought-provoking sports talk. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, here we are. We're back and ready on a Monday. Are you ready? I'm ready. The Nate Brown Show is back on Fox Sports Radio. How was your weekend? Solid, I hope. I hope you're doing good. We're back to it on a Monday. Man, the high school sports season's already underway. This is the time of year. I know kids getting back to school. It's busy. Let's get it cranking tonight. It is always a great day in South Dakota. You know that. And South Dakota Sports Talk Show is back on. Glad you're here. Fox Sports Radio live across the state. Also stream us on X. Follow us and watch us live right now at Nate Brown Show. So if you haven't followed the show, you've got us there on your phone. If you're on X, follow the show and watch us live every afternoon at Nate Brown Show. One more place, YouTube channel is live as well, The Nate Brown Show. You can look it up, subscribe to the channel. You've got every live show, every archive show, The Nate Brown Show on YouTube. However you're accessing the program, welcome in. Monday's show looks good. We're going to go South Dakota sports. We're going to go some Vikings. We're going to go national. Good stuff tonight. Let's get to it with our guest lineup. Let's tell you who's popping in, so stay tuned. Matt Christensen's coming up. He's the head coach now, Brandon Valley football. Brandon Valley's program, I think, over the past, I'd say 10 years, has really been on the scene. They've been in the mix in AAA. It seems like every year they are in the mix, and I think Brandon Valley is going to be good again. So let's get a preview tonight from Matt Christensen, head coach of Brandon Valley. We'll check in with him. So we'll start some of these high school football previews. It's that time of year. The first games for the smaller classes are this week. The high school soccer season got underway. I was front and center for that. That already got underway this past weekend, so it's full on now, man. Let's go national with Joey Kaufman. He's the Ohio State beat writer for the Columbus Dispatch. He's got the latest on the Ohio State announcement today that Lincoln Kienholz out of Pierre, he's going to be second string. He did not get the starting job at Ohio State at quarterback, and I want the reaction from Ohio State beat writer Joey Kaufman. He's in from the decision from Ryan Day this morning. Columbus Dispatch coming up. We're going to stay right here in South Dakota with Marcus Traxler, covers high school sports editor for the Mitchell Republic. Marcus Traxler on high school football preview time. And Matthew Coller checks in from Vikings training camp. Vikings had another preseason game. Didn't see much there. I mean, it's hard to see. You know, it's hard to tell. They had the practice all week there with the Patriots, and that's where I want to get into how did J.J. McCarthy look in the organized practices and scrimmages against the Patriots. Matthew Coller is in tonight. His first update on the Nate Brown Show this season. We'll get him a lot. Vikings writer, purpleinsider.com from the Twin Cities. So a busy Monday show. Let's get it popping. 605-720-1067 is our number. Join us on the Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline, 605-720-1067. Pizza Ranch Studio Hotline powered by the Pizza Ranch in Brandon and East 10th Street, Sioux Falls. 2 locations in Rapid City, home of everyone's favorite buffet. Your locally owned and operated Pizza Ranch. So you've got the studio line. Also, the Barron's Wilson text line is open. Text the show every day, 605-720-1067. 605-720-1067. I just had a listener send me a message over the weekend. He said, I've been listening to the show. I haven't been calling in. I haven't been texting in. My wife says I talk too much. It's okay. It's okay. This is equal opportunity here on the Nate Brown Show. Wives, husbands, you can all talk here. You can all be a part of the program, all right? However you want to do that, call or text 605-720-1067. Hey, let's get this popping tonight. I told you last week we made an announcement on the Nate Brown Show that we were going to team up and release the first ever South Dakota Power 5 poll. Now, this is a new high school football poll, and what does this all mean? If you put it all together, there's been a media poll that has been released. That's been the poll where you rank the teams and people kind of see where everybody's at. It's just for conversation. It's for the players. It's for the programs. It's for the towns, seeing where people are ranked. We've had it going on throughout time in South Dakota high school football. You get the football rankings. However, with the media poll, there was a ton of people across South Dakota that weren't involved in that media poll. They weren't voting in the poll. There was just these same voters every year, and there weren't people involved in that media poll. So we're teaming up with Midwest Sports Plus, and we're going to do this every week. And my guy Matt Kearney is running the show. Congrats to him. How he put this thing together. It's seamless. It's really good. It has almost 30 voters from across South Dakota. Broadcast media, print media, former coaches that have been in the game. So they're passionate voters on this. So the South Dakota Power 5 poll is out, and it's week 0 in high school football. It's our preseason poll. And what I'm going to do to start the show, I'm not going to go through every team. Okay, you can find that. We're going to put it up on our social media, and you're going to see it at Sioux Falls Live and in places like that. So the Power 5 poll is out. It's preseason. These are always tough. So I'm putting my votes in. I'm trying to break down what have the coaches been saying? Who do they think is going to be good? Because I don't know exactly. So I put my votes in on the South Dakota Power 5 poll, and it is out. So the release is now. And I'm just going to tell you who I voted for at number 1. I'll tell you who I voted for at number 1. I'm an open book, man. And maybe that's wrong. Maybe that's not good. I'm an open book. I'm transparent. The Nate Brown Show is the biggest transparent government entity. Wait. No, we're not. We're transparent entity here, independently operated. So my number 1 votes, here they are. And then I'll tell you kind of who the poll lines up. So in my number 1 votes for my Power 5 poll ballot today, I went 11 AAA, number 1 ranked team. Who did I put? Well, you have to stick with Sioux Falls Lincoln. You have to stick with Sioux Falls Lincoln. They've won the titles. They have a great quarterback. They have some guys. I mean, that program is rolling. I think people say, well, what about Brandon Valley? Harrisburg, they might be close. They might be. So this is all preseason. This is just starting this, just trying to guess who's got people back. And I know Lincoln's got Schaefer at QB, really solid. Did an unbelievable job last year. And so I go Sioux Falls Lincoln. That's my number one vote for the Power 5 poll this week. So AAA, I went Sioux Falls Lincoln. 11 AA. This one's tough for me. I don't know if Pierre's going to be the team. Watertown took them down last year. That was the first time breaking that streak of state titles for Pierre. I don't know if Watertown's going to be able to reload this thing up. So I went Pierre back on top in 11 AA. It's just the start. It's August. You put Pierre at the top, and you see how 11 AA rolls. So I went Pierre number 1, 11 AA. They've got some talent. I think that's okay. I think look out for Watertown, T area. Look out, Yankton, maybe even Brookings, maybe. So I went Pierre number 1, 11A Power 5 poll. Nate Brown vote. This is my number 1 vote in 11A. I'm going to go with Sioux Falls Christian today. So I think Sioux Falls Christian is just a little bit ahead. I don't think that's a lock. I think 11A is going to be pretty good. Lennox is tough. Del Rapids is going to be in there. West Central's not easy. So give me Sioux Falls Christian. 11A's close. I'll go Sioux Falls Christian. Number 1 vote for me in 11A. And finally in 11B, and I won't go through all the 9-man, but 11B football, I did a little surprise here. You would think you'd go winner every single year, and they just are in the mix every single year. I'm going to go Sioux Valley. I'm hearing Sioux Valley has gotten closer, and it seems like their program's taken steps. I know they have a different coach now. But I'm going to go Sioux Valley, number 1 in 11B. So let's see how the South Dakota Power 5 poll came out. Top 5 teams in South Dakota high school football today on the Power 5 poll. You high school football fans, here we go. O'Gorman's ranked 5th. Sioux Falls Jefferson 4th. Harrisburg 3rd. Brandon Valley 2nd. And my number 1 vote is the number 1 team. Got the most first-place votes, 12 first-place votes for Sioux Falls Lincoln, the defending back-to-back champs. So I'll go, I'm in agreement with the South Dakota Power 5 poll, Sioux Falls Lincoln, number 1. So there's your top 5. 11 AA, Brookings 5th, T area 4th, Watertown 3rd today. Yankton comes in at 2nd. Pierre TF Riggs, number 1 preseason ranked team at 11 AA. South Dakota Power 5 poll released just now here on the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Radio into 11A. Madison gets the 5th spot. 5th spot, Madison. West Central 4th. Del Rapids 3rd. Lennox 2nd. Sioux Falls Christian, the number 1 ranked preseason team in the Power 5 poll. And finally, 11B. 5th, Mount Vernon Plankinton. So MVP gets the 5th spot. That was in mine. I went Bridgewater, Emory, Easton there, but MVP 5th, St. Thomas More 4th. So St. Thomas More, I think they only lost 3 guys last year. So look out for the Cavaliers out west. St. Thomas More 4th, Elk Point Jefferson 3rd, Sioux Valley 2nd. Winner holds the number 1 spot in 11B. There's the South Dakota Power 5 poll release. Went through the top 5 in Class 11, in the 11-man classes. 9-man classes, we'll break those down later. Marcus Traxler's coming up, sports editor for the Mitchell Republic. He's one of the voters in the Power 5 poll as well. Glad to have him on board, so he'll be coming on the program soon. 605-720-1067 is our number. Let's get into the question of the day. Speaking of high school sports, so we got the Power 5 poll out. Here we go. We're ready to rock for the season. Matt Kearney's going to run that show and do a great job. It's going to be great to see where the teams land and how this plays out. It'll be. I find it so interesting when the preseason poll comes out. How wrong are we? Because The coaches, we talk to the coaches, they say, well, this team should be pretty good. How about these guys? Sometimes it plays out okay. Then there's a big gap sometimes, like, well, this team just jumps on the scene. So it'll be interesting to see how the season develops. And the smaller classes, 9-man, 11B, get going this week. High school football back on. And I wanted to know something. So I went to some games this weekend, high school soccer. And watching my daughter play, it was great. Game at Yankton, game at Sioux Falls, O'Gorman. So I just had something pop into my head because I'm watching the game at O'Gorman. It was great. Turned out to be great match and the whole thing. Everybody's so nice. Everybody is so nice. Everybody was getting along. It was a pretty intense soccer match. So it's like, soccer parents, we can get pretty wound up. I hate to tell you. But everybody seemed pretty low-key. It was all good, and the public address announcer was very nice. Right, running a professional show. It was really, really good atmosphere. And I got to thinking, Stevens beats O'Gorman in high school soccer in boys and girls, and nobody was too wound up or anything. And I started thinking, who is the biggest rivalry when it comes to Sioux Falls high school sports? This is something that popped into my head over the weekend as I'm wrapping up that game day experience on Saturday at O'Gorman, saying, well, I know maybe the soccer field's not quite like the basketball court, or maybe it's not as many fans as the football field, but is the rivalry for Sioux Falls schools, let's throw O'Gorman in there, and then the public schools, who is their rival? Is it like a West River rivalry? Is it Sioux Falls against West River? I couldn't quite tell that when I was watching the game. Stevens against O'Gorman, I couldn't quite, it's like, O'Gorman, we got to beat these guys. Stevens was in the state championship last year in soccer. We got to beat these. And then I started thinking, I've got 3 options for the biggest rivals of Sioux Falls high school sports. And I think I'm pretty accurate on this. You can tell me most passionate rivalry if, high school sports are starting right now and you're at a Sioux Falls school. Who is it? You have kids there or you've been there. Who is their most passionate rival? West River teams. It's East River against West River. I know adults, we hang on to it's East River against West River. That's the thing. Is it Sioux Falls against Sioux Falls? Is it Jefferson against Roosevelt? I mean, talk about the new school online. Some of the kids went here. Some of the kids went there. Is it Jefferson against Roosevelt? Like Sioux Falls School against Sioux Falls School when you're talking real rivalry, President's Bowl and stuff like that? Or is it everybody else in the state against Sioux Falls? And I actually think that's an accurate option. That's an accurate option. I have the answer, by the way. I have the answer. And it's a little trick question tonight on the Nate Brown Show. But I want your feedback from a high school sports standpoint. The high school season's here. I thought this was interesting to witness. There was no rivalry there, O'Gorman and Stevens. It didn't feel like an East River, West River thing. Everybody was having a great time. I'm not so sure that Sioux Falls thinks that East River versus West River is the rivalry. I want the Sioux Falls perspective on this. I have the answer, I believe, but you tell me, biggest passionate rivalry in South Dakota high school sports for Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls against West River, Sioux Falls against Sioux Falls, or everyone in the state against Sioux Falls? That's my question of the day on the Nate Brown Show as the high school sports season gets going. 605-720-1067. Some votes coming in, and I find this interesting. I want to see what people think. Most passionate rivalry in South Dakota high school sports from the Sioux Falls perspective. 53% of the audience on Twitter right now as we start the show tonight. Number one answer, it's everyone against Sioux Falls. Everyone against Sioux Falls. That's the number one answer. Most passionate rivalry in South Dakota high school sports. It's Sioux Falls against the world. 34% say it's Sioux Falls schools against Sioux Falls schools. And coming in last, 13% of the audience on the Nate Brown Show says it's Sioux Falls against West River. So the East River versus West River thing. Here's my answer. Here's my answer. You tell me if I'm wrong. So if you're in Yankton, if you're in Aberdeen, I don't know, some school like that, you have a rivalry against Sioux Falls. You do have a rivalry against Sioux Falls. So that's where, like, all of these smaller towns, the smaller big schools, right, they still have a rivalry against Sioux Falls because they're like, hey, we're still medium-sized town. We're going up against the evil empire, Sioux Falls, the big city. They recruit. They do they have all the training. They have all the facilities. So it's everyone against Sioux Falls from, if you're from Yankton, for example, it's everyone against Sioux Falls. If you're from Rapid City, you think, well, we got to beat Sioux Falls. If you're from Rapid City, it's West River against East River. It's the bitter rivalry to the end. When we go up against Sioux Falls, West River teams want to win. So it all depends where you're from, because guess what the number one answer to me is? If you're in Sioux Falls tonight, I think they're going to tell you, playing against Yankton or playing against other schools in the state or playing against West River, that's not it. I think the kids are going to tell you it's Sioux Falls against Sioux Falls. I think the kids are going to tell you that. When they play the President's Bowl, that's the rivalry. When they play crosstown rivals in basketball and in soccer, whatever sport, I think the Sioux Falls against Sioux Falls is the Sioux Falls answer. We all want it to be West River, everyone against Sioux Falls. I think Sioux Falls is going to tell you it's us against a crosstown school, just as it should be, by the way. That's how it should be. Stevens and Central and Rapid City should have the most passion. And I still will tell you, Sioux Falls against another Sioux Falls school, I would think has the most passion. I would think. 53% of you are voting the best rivalry in high school sports is everyone against Sioux Falls. Sioux Falls against the world. Imagine that. Matthew Coller is going to join us from Vikings training camp. What does he say about a few weeks in now? Matthew Coller, Purple Insider, on the Vikings next.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
Unlock big savings on your next project when you shop at Menards. Check out Lockley electronic door locks. You'll never have to worry if you forgot to lock your door again. Control your lock from anywhere with the use of your smartphone. Keep your home safe and secure. Pick up your Lockley electronic door lock today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
Mom, can we please go to Watiki Indoor Water Park Resort?
Watiki? What's so special about it?
Are you kidding? It's got slides, fountains, a lazy river, everything. And it's just a short drive to Rapid City. If we stay at one of the hotels, we get water park passes for free.
Wow, you really did your homework. Okay, what do you say we pack our swimsuits and hit Watiki this weekend?
Yes, best mom ever.
Unlock your adventure at WatikiWaterpark.com.
The new Mr. Liquor 2 in Rapid City is the only place in western South Dakota where you can order an ice-cold brew in the adjoining Campfire Bar and enjoy it while you shop. This month's specials include your favorite brands at great prices, like your choice of Jim Beam White or Wild Turkey Bourbon, a $7.50 of either one for $18.99. Deep Eddy Vodka $7.50 is only $15.99. Or get 12 packs of Garage Beer for just $12.99. The new Mr. Liquor 2, off Catron next to Walmart, or the original Mr. Liquor on the corner of West Chicago and Sturgis Road in Rapid City.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A severe thunderstorm watch continues until 9 p.m. tonight. Lows level off around 65. Tonight, under mainly clear skies, winds out of the west 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies again tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 92. Lows around 66. Tomorrow night, clear skies. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Right now, 76.
The place that sells the best new cars and trucks is the place you'll find the best used cars and trucks. That place is Danny Meno Toyota. Shop better quality import and domestic models. Buy with no down and make no payments for 90 days. Plus, buy Toyota certified pre-owned with financing as low as 5.49% APR for up to 60 months. See us at Danny Meno Toyota or DannyMenoToyota.com. 1910 for 1,000 finance regardless of down. Offers with qualified credit. Expires 9/2/25.
Hi, this is David Brenneman with Coldwell Banker Black Hills Legacy in Rapid City. With today's home values, right now could be a great time to sell your home. The Black Hills housing market is competitive, and I would love to help you get top dollar for your home. I have been selling real estate and attracting buyers in Rapid City for nearly 20 years. When it comes to buying or selling, experience matters. If you're thinking of selling your current home, let me put my expertise to work for you. Just Google David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker. List it, sell it, and move on. With me, David Brenneman, Coldwell Banker.
We all know life's busy, and if you get sick, you can get behind pretty quick. That's where Black Hills Urgent Care comes in. No appointments needed, no long waits, just fast, affordable care to get you feeling better quicker. Black Hills Urgent Care has 2 locations in Rapid City on Haynes Avenue and Mountain View Road. You can simply check in online at bhucare.com. That's with the letter U, bhucare.com. When you need care, see the team at Black Hills Urgent Care, the faster way to get better.
From high school to college to the pros, from Rapid City to Sioux Falls, the Nate Brown Show is South Dakota's sports talk show.
Glad you're here. See if we can get Matthew Coller. I'm wondering if I've got him. I'm hoping he can hear me. Having some technical difficulties, but we might be okay. Matthew, are you there? Can you hear me? No? Must not. I have no clue. I'm not sure. Can you hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you, Nate. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. You got me. Oh, magic. See how this works, man? We got it. Technical problems gone. Okay, welcome in. You've been busy and back on South Dakota Sports Talk Show. You tell me, this past weekend, what did we learn from the preseason game from the Patriots?
Well, Nate, if there's technical difficulties on the Vikings offense, it is not with J.J. McCarthy at all from what we've seen in practice most recently, but it is a little bit with the wide receiver situation because Jordan Addison is suspended 3 games, Justin Jefferson is just ramping up, and the rest of the group has some issues. Jalen Naylor injured his hand during joint practices, and he was called week to week with just 3 weeks left until they play an actual football game. And Lucky Jackson, who's a former XFLer, dropped 2 passes. It has not been looking great, and they were running in first-team practice today 3 or 4 different wide receivers with J.J. McCarthy. They may be in a situation where they've got to make some phone calls around the league or to some agents with free agents because they are really short in wide receiver depth, but the rest of the team, I mean, looks like the contender that we thought they were going to look like. And even though McCarthy didn't play in the second preseason game, had an excellent joint, brought the offense together. So, I mean, most things are good in Vikings land, I would say, except for there is definite concern with that wide receiver depth position.
Okay. How did the joint practices look for J.J. McCarthy? That's what I wanted to ask you. From what you were able to see, how did he look against the Patriots in practice?
Well, I wanted to cross-check myself because, I don't trust my own eyes. So I went and listened to a couple of Patriots podcasts to see what they were saying after the second day. And they were mostly ripping on their defense for giving up so many completions to J.J. McCarthy. So, of course, I thought, all right, I think I've got this right because I graded McCarthy an A for the joint practices. The first day, he did have a few misses. The second day, he had 1 point where he completed 12 passes in a row at all levels, not just short. I mean, down the field, intermediate, looked in complete command of the offense, and I think that was really much more telling than a preseason game would have been, where they're not really showing much, they're not really doing much, and it's not against starters, but this was against the Patriots starting defense, and he was doing it without Jalen Naylor or Justin Jefferson, and still, finding Jordan Addison, finding T.J. Hawkinson, finding some receivers that most people wouldn't know who their names are. It was very, very impressive. And so there's part of me that doesn't want to overreact to 2 practices, but also those are the most telling and most important practices of the summer. And I think where J.J. McCarthy has gotten to is a really good place. Now, does that mean he's going to be, John Elway? I don't know. I don't think so right off the bat. I think that there are going to be growing pains, but I also think that they have to be pretty confident, or maybe as confident as they could be at this point, that J.J. McCarthy is going to be able to step in, and he's going to run the offense, and he's going to be able to make a lot of the throws and understand the play calls and get the offense going. And then it's a matter of the details, is he pinpoint accurate, which he has not been throughout all of training camp. He definitely was the other day, but there have been some days where there were a lot of overthrows and misses. So I think that there are going to be ups and downs with him throughout the early part of the season as he really learns to be an NFL quarterback. But I think it's been so far a best-case scenario for J.J. McCarthy this summer.
How athletic is McCarthy? How athletic do the Vikings want him to be in games?
I think you saw it in a very brief stint in preseason where there was a 4th down and 4, and the Texans sent. He ran for a first down. I think that's the kind of athleticism they wanted to use. And then I'll use another example. In the joint practices, there was a play in the red zone where he got some pressure from his blind side, and he took 2 or 3 steps and kind of made like a sidearm, not perfect platform, but running up full speed on the move, perfect pass into the back of the end zone for a touchdown in practice to T.J. Hawkinson. I think that's the kind of athleticism you're looking at. I would compare it to kind of a Baker Mayfield, where you're not talking about Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen here who's going to run for 1,000 yards, but you are talking about a guy who can pick up 20 or 30 first downs throughout the year, somebody who can get pressure and make plays. And I think if there's anything that's really impressed me the most, it has been the pocket presence and the coolness of J.J. McCarthy under pressure, where it doesn't look like he ever panics. He understands when to run, when to scramble, and he understands when he's got to try to make a play as well with his arm when he's on the move. And he's gotten rid of the football very well. In those joint practices, he didn't take a ton of sacks because I think he understands where to go with the ball. And if he plays football like that, where he makes a handful of plays with his legs, he doesn't take sacks, doesn't make too many big mistakes, he might be able to miss on a handful of passes that are there and work those kinks out throughout the season, but he's going to have to do that little extra in order to keep the offense running the same way that he did in that preseason game.
Matthew Coller on tonight from Vikings Training Camp. PurpleInsider.com is the site, YouTube channel, newsletter, Purple Insider here on the Nate Brown Show. One more on McCarthy. I think I heard Kevin O'Connell say over the weekend he's ahead of schedule, or he's right on schedule. What do you think that means?
No, I think that's exactly right. I remember last year, and, I could even go back to 2022 when Kirk Cousins first learned this offense. It was very different from what he had done before, and then, of course, it was different for Sam Darnold than anything he had done before. And all the quarterbacks have had a lot of up-and-down days throughout training camp. And then right around the time of the second preseason, the joint practices, that's when it starts to click for them. Because I think that there's a lot of details to this offense, a lot of movement, a lot of motions, a lot of different formations that are just a lot for any quarterback to handle mentally, and then you got to get every single one of those details right. But once it becomes the language, they get it, and then the throws come along with it. I mean, we know Kevin O'Connell is going to scheme wide receivers open. I mean, he's been doing that since he was with the Rams and Sean McVay and learned a lot there, and then he brought that to Minnesota immediately with Kirk Cousins. And we know his quarterbacks are going to have his belief, and we know that they're going to be confident and all that sort of stuff, but there is the element of, can you execute the plays? And with McCarthy, that was kind of true or not true, depending on the day. The night practice they had a couple weeks ago, it was miserable for him. Then he came back the next day and was great, and it was like, okay, which McCarthy are we getting? But I think as we've gone along, it's been much more consistent with him, and there's a few more open practices for us. But then that's it. It's almost over, and I think the big picture is that, yeah, I would agree with O'Connell. be. But now he's got to get Justin Jefferson back in the lineup here where he's just getting ramped up, and then start game planning for the Bears, and then it becomes a whole new different level. We've seen, I think, a lot of good stuff from him, but what the ceiling is for him with this offense is we're, I think, still not 100% sure yet.
Matthew Coller is on tonight. Outside of the wide receiver story now, note the depth there, and you sound like they might be in a little bit of a dicey situation for now. What are the headlines for you with training camp winding down here? What are the headlines in the last week of the preseason?
I think the biggest headline for the Vikings overall, of course, it's all J.J. McCarthy, but if we put McCarthy aside, I think it's that the Vikings went out with the intent to make their defense nastier than they were last year, and they were in the top 5 in points allowed last year, and I think that they've achieved that. It's been a really, really impressive performance for the Vikings defense in training camp. They brought in Javon Hargrave, they brought in Jonathan Allen. Those guys have looked spry so far. As the season goes along, we'll see where they're at in terms of health and in terms of being at the same level that they've been for their careers, because they are on the older side. But I think they've been terrific. And then, a guy to really watch, I think, for fans is Isaiah Rodgers, who was a part-time cornerback throughout his career, and then the Vikings are making him a full-time outside corner. He makes plays every single day in practice and has looked like another one of those Brian Flores finds. So I think Flores has a lot more options now to rush the passer without having to blitz all the time, but he's still going to blitz a lot, and I think that they've improved at the cornerback position from where they were last year. It's a very, very difficult schedule this year of quarterbacks and offenses that they're going to play, but I think they understood this defense has to be even better to get the same results. And so far from what I've seen, and they're very healthy at this moment, I think they do look better than they did at this time last year.
We got him in on a Monday. Find him at purpleinsider.com. The YouTube channel has a great show there. Find him, Matthew Coller on X. Purple Insider. Matthew, good to have you. Thanks for hanging in. I appreciate it.
Yep, thanks a lot, Nate.
Thanks a lot. Matthew Coller getting us started on South Dakota Sports Talk Show from Vikings Training Camp, purpleinsider.com. His site, really good stuff. Good content there when it comes to Vikings. Matthew Coller on tonight. J.J. McCarthy didn't play in the preseason game, but Kevin O'Connell says he's right on schedule. I think that's how he put it, right on schedule or a little bit ahead of schedule. So we got this thing going. Here's the Vikings narrative. Here it is. The national media thinks J.J. McCarthy's going to bomb. So most people think J.J. McCarthy's going to bomb because the national folks are telling you, we've never seen the guy. This is a rookie. He's a rookie, essentially. He didn't play last year. He got hurt. So how do you expect the Vikings to compete with a rookie at QB? We haven't seen him. So that's the narrative. That's not mine. Because I was surprised how Bo Nix did for the Broncos last year. You didn't see that one coming at all. Nobody saw that one coming at all outside of Matt Kearney, I guess. And now J.J. McCarthy, I believe, is around a better team than Bo Nix, quite a bit better. So Bo Nix didn't have a great squad last year. The Broncos are better now. But J.J. McCarthy steps into the Vikings. The roster's good. Matthew Coller just said that the defense is great, he thinks. It's going to be really good. And then you see the skill guys. You got to get these guys back up to speed. But we know the Vikings are better overall than the Broncos, correct? So J.J. McCarthy will be as good as Bo Nix. I would say you would think better, just from where they were at. So the national media, the Vikings are going to be, they don't have a QB. Nobody's giving them credit. That's what I think anyway. Let's take a call. Thanks for getting in. You're live, and you go ahead.
But the Chicago Bears quarterback has had a year under his belt.
Yes.
Hasn't shown anything.
Yes.
And they have more faith in him. And where did McCarthy come from? What coach?
Harbaugh.
Isn't he a pretty good quarterback coach?
Not bad.
Do you have faith? Isn't O'Connell supposed to be a quarterback whisperer?
Yes. Man, you got all the lines today.
I just don't understand where all this is. That's all right. I mean,
but you have heard this, right? Is that, McCarthy's not going to be, who knows what he's going to be. That's why the Vikings won't be good.
That's national media for you, though. They get the flavor of the day. Once they get past the Cowboys, then they should start with other things, and JJ's their target for last week or two. So
I got you, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for getting in. Good to hear from you. No, I don't hear much about J.J. McCarthy at all, and here's how it goes. Like, certain guys just get targeted. Shedeur Sanders is one of them, right? He gets targeted for certain things. And then some guys, watch, if J.J. McCarthy goes out against the Bears, has a bad game on Monday Night Football, he's just going to get blitzed because that's the only game on Monday night. That Tuesday coming back, he is going to get destroyed. His whole career is going to be over. They're going to say his whole career is over if J.J. McCarthy doesn't play good against the Bears. So just get ready for it. I'm saying it now. Hey, let's come back with a high school football poll. We got to keep this cranking. South Dakota Power 5 poll is out. I did my first votes. Who's going to be the best teams in South Dakota high school football? What about the two new coaches in Rapid City? Marcus Traxler is on tonight. He's the sports editor from the Mitchell Republic. He's got his votes in. Who are the top teams? We'll discuss next.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one. Can always be their number one. Medical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. Number one hospital in the nation. Orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0 zip zilch, with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's August 2027. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with zero regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place? It's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait? There's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
Doing it. Shields Rapid City has your gear. From athletic clothing from your favorite team, cold weather gear to keep you warm, to the best camping selection this side of the Black Hills, and the most stylish and functional women's outerwear and footwear. Shields has the widest selection of the best brands in the business. So when you're ready to get out, get in the game, or get going, get to Shields. Shields. We're right there with you at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
If you're in the market for a vehicle right now, you probably have noticed it's sometimes hard to find the right one. That's where Summit Automotive Group steps in. Stacy and Matt and their staff working hard to get a great selection of pre-owned vehicles at affordable prices. At Summit Automotive, they have a different outlook on selling you a vehicle. You'll experience stress-free shopping, friendly, honest service with no high-pressure sales gimmicks. Before you buy, drop by East Highway 44, SummitAutoGRP.com.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show on a Monday. Back at it on the Nate Brown Show, Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're here. Remember, you can stream us on X, be a part of the question of the day, interact with us. We check it throughout the show. We're on X live right now at Nate Brown Show, so you can watch us live wherever you're at on your afternoon at Nate Brown Show. Question of the day today. I've been thinking about this with high school sports starting up now. I just watched some high school soccer in the opening weekend this past weekend, and I was thinking, what's the most passionate rivalry in high school sports? I'm not talking like town to town. You could get a lot of those. But when it comes to Sioux Falls, you have all these schools, the public schools. You got O'Gorman, you got Sioux Falls Christian. Who is the most passionate rivalry when it comes to Sioux Falls schools? Sioux Falls against against West River. Sioux Falls against Sioux Falls, like a Jefferson versus Roosevelt thing, or it's everybody against Sioux Falls? That's my question of the day. How would you answer that? I got one here. Listener text saying, or no, it's on Twitter. Listener reaction saying, it's Sioux Falls Christian against every other A school. It's the biggest rivalry. Sioux Falls Christian against every other A school. That's interesting. Marcus Traxler's on tonight. He covers high school sports. MitchellRepublic.com. We just released our first Power 5 poll. High school football preseason poll is out. We're going to get into that and more. Marcus, welcome in. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing good, man. So I got a question for you. You're in Mitchell. Biggest rivalry, is it Huron by far for the Mitchell Colonels still?
Yes, absolutely. Still Huron, simply because they've been sort of on the same level in football. So even when Mitchell hasn't had as good a seasons, that's still a game that everybody looks forward to. And then certainly basketball, there's been a lot of sort of epic games with boys and girls between those teams, both in the past and recent. And, of course, those teams played each other in the boys tournament in the quarterfinals this year. So, yeah, Huron's still the number one for Mitchell.
Okay, I believe that. Now, if I were to ask you, who do you think Sioux Falls' biggest rival is? I have this question of the day. I think the Sioux Falls schools think when we play each other, that's the heated rivalry. What do you think the Sioux Falls rivalry scene is?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. I think, if you're Lincoln, you're looking at the Washington game, you're looking at the O'Gorman game, you're looking at the teams that they play locally. I do think outside of Sioux Falls, yeah, it's everybody else wanting to knock Sioux Falls off. I think that's generally fair. I think your texter or your tweeter was right about Sioux Falls Christian. There's certainly that sentiment in Class A as well. So, yeah, I think that's, just because Sioux Falls has become, far and away the largest city in the state, and they do have a lot of resources and all these sorts of things. I mean, I think it's a notable achievement, certainly when anybody else is getting into the picture, whether it's basketball, football, baseball, so on and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, I think I would agree with it sort of being the other communities. They look forward to the chance to beat the Sioux Falls teams when they get the chance.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think the other communities say, we want to beat Sioux Falls. The Sioux Falls schools are like, well, we want to beat each other, like at the President's Bowl coming up in a few weeks. Let's go to the football Power 5 poll release. It just came out today. We're teaming up with Forum Communications, Midwest Sports Plus, and a lot of you guys that do a great job covering South Dakota high school football across the state. Power 5 poll, preseason poll comes out. These are tough, Marcus. I don't exactly know who's going to be good. I'm listening to coaches thinking that maybe this team, maybe that team. Let's stay in AAA. 11 AAA. I voted Sioux Falls Lincoln 1. They end up number 1 in the Power 5 poll preseason. It's easy. You got Schaefer at quarterback. They've won the state title. How good do you think Lincoln's going to be again?
I think they'll be very good. They certainly start from a pretty good point, like you mentioned, with the quarterback being back. They have a great receiver that's back. And I did some looking of the teams that, did they lose a lot in terms of seniors? I mean, 11 AAA, every team is losing 20 seniors because that's just how big the classes are. But I think Lincoln had a little less of that turnover. They had 22 seniors, but certainly they bring back a pretty decent share of quality players in the junior and sometimes even sophomore class. So that gives them a big leg up. And certainly my first place vote went to Brandon Valley. I know they didn't win the state championship last year, but they were 11-0 going into that game. They lost 25 seniors last year. They were set to have 25 seniors coming into this season, and they have 4 All-State players that are back. Hudson Parliament being the biggest name, of course, the big-time offensive lineman. So I gave the nod to Brandon Valley, but I'm in the midst of writing something right now that I think it's going to be a while before we know exactly who the best is. There even going to be a far and away best team in 11 AAA this season? And a lot of these teams that we expect to be at the top don't play each other till later in the season. So we might go a ways with a few teams being able to make a stake of being the number one team.
I look at Harrisburg. They're always right around there. Harrisburg's maybe not in the same category you think as Brandon Valley, but like you said, do we really know yet? Harrisburg's they've been strong the last 5-6 years.
And Harrisburg's been one of those teams that in the last few years has had huge numbers in terms of lots of players, lots of big classes. So, they've been an 8-win team the last 2 years. They have a lot of incoming seniors by the looks of it. So I would expect Harrisburg to be in the mix, playing potentially in that semifinal round at worst. And certainly they have the coaching and the pedigree to make a case to be in the Dome in November.
We're talking Power 5 poll. The new high school football poll is out today, preseason. Marcus Traxler's on. He's at MitchellRepublic.com for great coverage of South Dakota sports. You give me your read on the 11 AA scene. So that's where Mitchell lands, and Mitchell football hasn't been outstanding, but Pierre has been running the show. They get knocked off by Watertown. I think people automatically put Pierre back on top. What do you think AA looks like?
Well, I think it's interesting. If we would have this conversation in late September, October, Pierre was 2-4, and I think we would have sat here and said, well, this might be the year it's over. And I know I thought that, but then they won 5 games in a row, and they got to the Dakota Dome and ended up running into a very good Watertown team that ended up claiming the title by a point. So how far was Pierre really knocked from their stoop as one of the best teams in this class? Not very far. They have a pretty large contingent of players coming in. They bring back the All-State tight end Cooper Terwilliger. I know Caleb Lounsbury, the quarterback, is committed to Dakota Wesleyan. So I think Pierre, even though they were a 7-win team last season, I would expect them to make big strides forward. We've seen that with Steve Steele teams in the past. So Pierre, to me, is the number one team, and part of that is also Yankton and Watertown had big senior classes. They each lost 20 seniors last year. Yankton doesn't have any returning All-State players from that team last year. So I think it's fair to make Pierre number one. That's where I had them. And we'll see exactly who can come up and make a stake to be there later in the season. I look at Brookings, potentially a team that had a 7-win turnaround last season. They were 8-3. As maybe being a team that could get in the picture. And I wouldn't expect Yankton or Watertown to go very far away either.
So some people think Spearfish is sneaky there. They had a nice year. They brought some players back, a program that's kind of been on the verge a little bit, just out of the top 5. What do you think, Spearfish?
Yeah, it's hard to say. They came out of the gates playing very well, had some very notable wins last season. And then we got to the later in the year, and they found it to be harder. They were a 5 seed, had to go on the road, and then got knocked out in the first round of the playoffs. So 6-4 last season, perfectly solid season for Spearfish. They lost 16 seniors, so and they were set to have 10 seniors into this season. So we'll see, which is one of the smaller groups in 11 AA. So we'll see what exactly the Spartans are able to put on the field. But I would expect them to be a 500 team in this class, and unfortunately for the teams like Mitchell last season, Douglas, there were some teams that were at the bottom, and that if you're 5-5 or somewhere in that, 5-4 when the playoffs come around, certainly you're going to be in the field.
Okay, Marcus, the number one team that got the most number one votes in the new Power 5 poll in any class, 9-man or 11-man, number one votes, Sioux Falls Christian. 11A, they got 18 first-place votes. I'm told Lennox could be in the mix in 11A. Del Rapids, mate, but Sioux Falls Christian, are they a cut above?
I would expect them to be the number one team for the entire season, most of the season. They had the misfortune of losing to Lennox in the state championship game. I think there's some parallels here with Brandon Valley. They finished 11-1, but they have 4 All-State players that are going to be back on the team this season. They lost 13 seniors, which isn't a crazy number. And you mentioned Lennox. I would expect them to be in the picture as well. Lost their quarterback, who's now at Northern State, but they only have of juniors and sophomores from last season that were set to move up. So, and they have their all-state running back as well. So I would expect those to be the 2 teams, but I think it's going to be kind of like basketball was last season, where Sioux Falls Christian is going to be looking to get back. After losing the championship game, we'll be looking to avenge that this season.
Interesting parallel. Marcus Traxler on tonight. One more look at the South Dakota Power 5 preseason poll. Find him at MitchellRepublic.com. Sports editor, he's on X at Marcus Traxler. 11B has been controlled by winner. I voted Sioux Valley. I was told Sioux Valley's got some great players. They have a different coach now, but great players back. Winter may not be as good as past years, but how do you see 11B? This is always a tough class because there's a lot of good parity.
Yeah, and it'll be really interesting because I would expect Winter to be very good. The thing you always have to remember is, they play in a lot of lopsided games. That means your younger guys get a chance to play, and they play against. Their upperclassmen have always been very talented, and when you go against that every day in practice, it tends to season those younger players. So they had 18 seniors last year on that championship team, but they were set to bring 25 upperclassmen into this season. So we'll see exactly what Winter has on the team. I would expect them to be a top 5 team all year long, if not in that number 1 spot. I agree, Sioux Valley, they got a taste of the Dome last year after sniffing around it for many, many years. And I think they're probably not going to be a team that's going to wither away. So I'm interested to see what they bring to the table. They have 2 losses in the last 2 seasons. So I think Sioux Valley will be a factor. And I think one of the other teams I'm keeping an eye on is the champion from 2 years ago, Hot Springs. They were 11-1. Then they dropped to 4-5. I believe 2 years ago they had a ton of seniors. Last year they only had 4, and now they're back to, they had 18 juniors last year. That would be as many as anybody has in 11B this season. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on. Wagner is another team that made a step forward last season. They play a tough schedule. They have some talent on their roster, so that might be a team that's a little bit lower on the list that could potentially be in the picture. And I saw St. Thomas more in the playoffs last year. I was really impressed with them. They only had 3 seniors last year, so that was kind of I had those 4 teams plus Elk Point Jefferson in my top 5.
I'm saying those 2 West River teams, interesting. St. Thomas More only down 3 seniors from last year, so their coach, Austin Hagan, I think he's feeling pretty good about this year. And then look out, Hot Springs, a down year last year, but can they crank it back up in 11B? Power 5 poll is out, a brand new poll featuring almost 30 sports coverage guys from across the state, broadcast media, print media, a couple of former coaches as well voting in the poll. MitchellRepublic.com's Marcus Traxler breaking it down. Season gets underway with 9-man at 11B this week. Marcus, thanks for hopping in. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Nate.
Appreciate it. Marcus Traxler, find his work at MitchellRepublic.com. Does a good job. One of the better high school sports guys in the state. He's on X, if you're not following, at Marcus Traxler. In tonight from Mitchell, the Mitchell Republic, part of the Power 5 poll as well. Good stuff. Good stuff there. That's a good breakdown from Marcus, breaking things down. He thinks look out, Hot Springs in 11B. So the Bison may make a little noise. He said St. Thomas More could be in the mix, but he's holding firm with Winter. Sioux Valley is a couple of top teams. Sioux Falls Christian led the way of most first-place votes out of any team in the new Power 5 poll, which we just released today. Follow him on Twitter, at Matt Kearney. That's where you'll get your Power 5 poll first. Do you know that? We think. He's running the show. That's where you want to get it. At Matt Kearney for the Power 5 poll, and, of course, across the state as it comes out every Monday. Preseason poll is out. Check it out. Good luck to the teams as we get going. Coming right back, I'm going to wish good luck to this team and my reaction to what they've done so far next.
This is the Nate Brown.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0 zip zilch, with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's August 2027. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with zero regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute, and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
The lives of our members and bettering our communities. As your community credit union, we're here to get to know you and your unique needs. From extended service hours to the newest technology, we have you covered. Stop by any location to get started or text or call 605-718-1818. BHFCU is member-owned, not-for-profit, and federally insured by the NCUA.
In the past, if you needed auto body repair, you had to get multiple estimates and then try to get your car into a shop for repair. Well, not anymore. In most cases, you can stop by one shop, get your estimate, and schedule your car for a repair. The question now becomes which shop you choose. If you like quality, choose J&J Truck and Auto Body. They have ASE, PPG, and Gold iCar certifications that allow them to offer you a nationwide warranty. And they'll work with your insurance company so you're pleased with the outcome. J&J Truck and Auto Body, 1513 East Philadelphia.
This is The Nate Brown Show, also streaming live on YouTube. Subscribe to The Nate Brown Show on YouTube.
Welcome back in. Glad you're here on a Monday drive home, just getting the week started. School for a lot of the kids now. Everybody's heading back, right? Got your head on a swivel. You ready for that? All right. Good luck to everybody as we start another school year, another sports season. Hey, by the way, on the Nate Brown Show, we've had the Sioux Falls Little League coach on twice, and we've been covering this team. So I'm sitting here watching Sioux Falls Little League last week in their first game against Pennsylvania, the home state team, and Sioux Falls Little League gets a gem from Maxon Snoozy. You see this picture? I mean, this guy's a dealer. He's not a big kid or anything. He's just throwing gas, the placement, the gas. So Maxon Snoozy, complete game shutout. Sioux Falls Little League gets a couple of runs in the first inning. They hang on to win against Pennsylvania in a packed house last week. That was Thursday night. And they win their first game 2-0. So the Sioux Falls Little League team winning at the Little League World Series, and now they're playing tonight. So I want to wish good luck to the Sioux Falls Little League team. as they try and win against the Metro team. They're out of Connecticut. So now they get the Metro region. This is Fairfield, Connecticut. This is a tough go tonight. I'll just give you a little heads up tonight. Connecticut beat Hawaii in their opening game. I think it was 5-1. Hawaii's the real deal. Hawaii is the real deal. So I think Sioux Falls Little League, I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I'm not a Little League baseball expert. But they looked really good against Pennsylvania on Thursday. 2-0 win. That's kind of how they've been winning if you follow these guys at all, if you followed their story. And I was having dinner. I was talking to, there was a lady, and one of the waitresses, she said, "Oh, yeah, my kids are in the Sioux Falls Little League. They're younger, and they're coming up, and that's our goal is to, make the Little League All-Star team and make the Little League World Series." So there was some passion on this. You make the Little League World Series, it's a big deal, and then you get a win in the first game. Now they got the Metro region. So Sioux Falls, South Dakota on the map. The game's starting right now. We'll keep you updated on this thing as it just gets going, all right, for you radio listeners that are dialed in tonight. A lot to cover on the Nate Brown Show tonight. Stay tuned. Matt Christensen's going to join us. Brandon Valley's one of the top teams in AAA football again. What does he say about this upcoming season? Brandon Valley head coach Matt Christensen previewing his team as they try and get back to the Dome. Joey Kaufman's on tonight from Ohio State. Lincoln Keenholz, the Pierre, South Dakota native, didn't get the starting nod today from head coach Ryan Day. He's going to be the backup again. Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch beat writer for the Buckeyes. He's on tonight with reaction on where Lincoln Keenholz goes from here in that Ohio State program. A lot coming up. Best of luck to Sioux Falls Little League just getting underway against the Metro region, a team out of Connecticut. Tough road. Can Sioux Falls win again tonight? If they win tonight for South Dakota, they're in the Little League World Series semis. They're in the semis on the American side. So let's go. South Dakota on the map. I'm fully ready tonight. See what Sioux Falls Little League can do. It's going to be a tough one tonight against Connecticut. We'll keep an eye on it. Coming right back. Speaking of baseball, that's what's next. Major League Baseball had their game for the Little League World Series, all the players, right? So you had the Mets playing the Mariners. So they had this game for the Little League World Series players. They could all watch the Major League game. It was great. Rob Manfred was on the broadcast, the commissioner of baseball, and he's starting to throw out some more new things for baseball. This I'm not so sure on. Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Hunting season's just around the corner. Time to gear up with the best names in the business at prices that will not be beat. Like a Wildview 16-megapixel trail cam for just $34.99. The Big Game 16-foot Warrior Pro tree stand is on sale for $149.99. And take aim and comfort with a Hawk Big Denali luxury blind chair for just $134.99. Stop in for these hunting specials and more at your local Fleet Farm. And check out all our weekly deals at fleetfarm.com.
School's starting soon, but summer's not over yet. Keep grilling those burgers and hot dogs, but don't toss that empty bun bag. With Loaves for Learning, every UPC from Village Hearth Bun packages is worth 5 cents for your school. Earn up to $10,000 this year just by eating what you love. Grill now, give back later with Village Hearth and Loaves for Learning.
Football season is almost here, and we're throwing a huge kickoff party in the BetMGM Sportsbook at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort. Thursday, September 4th is the official start to pro football action, and we'll have games, prizes, great food, cold drinks, and even the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Rapid City. Enjoy the BetMGM Sportsbook with wall-to-wall televisions, comfortable and spacious seating, and personal live audio streamed right to your phone. Kick off your season right with the BetMGM Sportsbook at Tin Lizzy Gaming Resort, where it's always game on.
The wait is over. We've begun closing out our 2025 models at Spearfish GMC Cadillac to make room for the 2026 models. Discounts and rebates are great on all 2025 models, but don't wait because stock is limited. New Sierra 1500 up to $67.50 off. Remaining 25 Sierra HDs starting at just $52,630. Plus, just arrived a great selection of the all-new GMC Acadia. Spearfish GMC Cadillac. Online always at spearfishmotors.com.
KIMM Rapid City and K294BT Rapid City, the Black Hills Sports Station, 106.7 FM and 1150 AM, Fox Sports Rapid City.
Hey, sports parents and ballers of all ages, Rapid City has a new sports facility that you have to check out. E3 Sports Complex on East North Street is the newest indoor sports facility featuring 4 full courts. E3 Sports is here to serve the community and wants all athletes of any age to come and experience expert training, coaching, and the opportunity to unlock your athletic potential. Memberships and court rentals are available now. Come to play at E3 Sports Complex. Learn more at e3sports.org.
Hi, Mom. What are you wearing?
Oh, this is my around the house in summer outfit. You like it?
Mom, it's a garbage bag that you put your legs and arms through.
Yeah, and then I fill it with ice.
Okay, why?
Well, this house gets so darn hot in the summer, and walking around in my Starkers just wasn't working for me anymore.
So you made an ice chest dress?
Well, at least I'm comfortable now.
Mom, why don't you just call Renewal by Andersen?
Oh, is that a new tailor?
No, Renewal by Andersen makes custom fit windows tailored for any house.
I don't know. I'm growing kind of fond of the old ice chest dress.
No, really, they do a free home consultation. Then replace your old drafty windows with brand new ones.
I do wish these garbage bags were stronger. I reach for the TV remote and ice goes all over the living room floor.
Okay, Mom, call Renewal by Andersen.
Oh, I will. Now, would you like a cold drink? I got plenty of ice.
I don't think so.
Visit RBARapidCity.com today for a free consultation. Lower your heating and cooling bills with windows from Renewal by Andersen of Rapid City. RBARapidCity.com.
This is the Nate Brown Show. From the biggest national names to the hottest stories across South Dakota. Welcome to the Nate Brown Show. Here's your host, Nate Brown.
All right, let's do this into the second hour tonight on a Monday. Glad you're here. Hope you had a nice weekend, first of all. And if this is the first time you're checking in, hope you had a solid Monday. Solid. We're back at it on the Nate Brown Show on Fox Sports Radio. Glad you're a part of the program each day. It's South Dakota Sports Talk Show across the state. Remember, stream us on X at Nate Brown Show, and then you can also listen to this program on demand. So if you missed the first hour, we had a great Vikings update with Matthew Coller, his read on where the Vikings are at last week of the preseason. Matthew Coller from Purple Insider. Great breakdown of the high school football side. Season's getting underway this week for the 9-man 11B schools. Marcus Traxler in, debuting our first South Dakota Power 5 poll, ranking the top teams with up to 30 media members and former coaches across the state voting on the top-ranked South Dakota high school teams. And our preseason poll debuted. We'll do it every Monday here on the Nate Brown Show. Power 5 poll preseason is out. We talked to Marcus Traxler tonight from the Mitchell Republic. More to come tonight. Go out to Ohio State. The reaction of how did Lincoln Kienholz just lose out of the starting job at Ohio State? Joey Kaufman's in. He covers the Buckeyes. Beat writer, Ohio State for Columbus Dispatch from Columbus, Ohio. And a high school football preview with Brandon Valley head coach Matt Christensen. That program has been rolling. Many people think they'll be in the mix again in AAA this year. Brandon Valley head coach Matt Christensen with a high school football preview still ahead. Remember, the Nate Brown Show podcast, if you don't catch all of the show live, I know you can't. 2 hours every day. You don't even get to golf like that. You gotta catch the show when you can. So we got the podcast there on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your podcast. Search the Nate Brown Show, and you've got the podcast. Welcome in live right now. 605-720-1067 is the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. Also, remember the Barron's Wilson text line. 605-720-1067. That's the text line for you as well. So this Major League Baseball headline today. It's interesting to me because Major League Baseball's gone through some changes pretty significantly over the past 5 years. They've had a lot of stuff here, pitch clock, all of this stuff. I think a lot of these changes have helped the game. To me, I'm not a classic baseball purist. I grew up with baseball, loved it. I think it's probably my favorite sport right away. So I'm a baseball guy, Cubs fan, follow it, the whole thing. So I like talking baseball, and I think some of the things they've tweaked have helped. Now another thing is being talked about. This is not in the game. It's expanding the league. Rob Manfred was on the broadcast when they were talking about the future of Major League Baseball. They had the broadcast with the Mets and Mariners, their Little League World Series game. And Rob Manfred was talking about if we expand, then there could be a change in how they line up the teams. So this is for you baseball fans. Heads up on this, because I don't think he's just throwing it out there. So they're thinking about expanding, and Rob Manfred said he hoped to have 2 teams picked out before he retires in 4 years. So I hope we're all around in 4 years. Manfred and Major League Baseball have mentioned what? Salt Lake City, and Nashville, Tennessee. So on that front, let me ask you the question of the day first on this Major League Baseball side. If you were able to expand, if Major League Baseball expands, which city would be the best place for pro baseball team? That's my question of the day. They've thrown some out there. Portland's trying to get it. So they got mock-ups of a ballpark and the whole thing. Portland's trying to get it. You got Charlotte's been thrown into the mix. And I've heard Charlotte's on the verge like, yeah, we could have one here. San Antonio, Texas. They're in the mix. I just told you Nashville and Salt Lake City. Who would get your vote? I'm curious because as I think this through, I'm going, I bet everybody's going to want to go to Nashville. I just saw a couple of my friends went to Nashville. My brothers went to Nashville. I've never been to Nashville. I've been places. I try and travel and travel around this country quite a bit. Never been to Nashville. I'm an old country DJ. I'm an old country radio DJ. What am I doing? How did I not get a deal to go to Nashville long ago? So I've never been to Nashville, but I'm told it's like nice city, kind of popping, fun. They got things going on. So then you think about, hey, Major League Baseball, that would be a vibrant place to put it. So my guess is people are going to think, hey, if you had to expand, nobody's going to think like, yeah, how about, I don't know, San Antonio. I hear San Antonio's a nice town. Never been there. The Riverwalk, I'm hearing it's a nice town. Nobody's going to say Salt Lake City. Well, that's a nice city, too. That's a very nice city. I have been there. But everybody's going to vote for Nashville, aren't you? It's a country music capital. The vibrancy, you got some things going on that you can do on top of the games. But that doesn't necessarily mean it would be good for baseball. Nashville's got a lot of things popping. Maybe that wouldn't be good for baseball. It's kind of like Las Vegas. Everybody thinks that's going to be just great. Oh, baseball in Las Vegas, entertainment, sports capital. Yeah, they're going to have it. I don't know if the A's, if they ever get it done in Vegas, are going to have success at all. I don't know if Las Vegas is going to want to watch baseball. Is Nashville going to want to watch baseball? That's what I would like to know. What's your vote? Where would you go? Portland, Salt Lake City, San Antonio, Charlotte, or Nashville? Rob Manfred has thrown out he hopes to pick two teams before he retires as the commissioner of baseball. Look at this vote on the Nate Brown Show. It's heavy. I knew it. It's heavy. 84% of the audience, if you would expand Major League Baseball, you would choose Nashville first. Why not Portland? Why not Portland, Oregon? Great temperature, nothing else going on. They would support a team like the Portland Trailblazers. That's the real deal. When you got one team like that, that is the real deal. There's too much going on in Nashville. Too much going on down there. This isn't for me to go down and have a fun weekend in Nashville and then I get to maybe go to a baseball game. I want to go to a destination where that's the baseball game's the thing. So I know what you're saying, though. Nashville's the vote. 84% of you say Nashville. 13% of you say Salt Lake City. So we could maybe make the long trip over there. Maybe. Here's the bigger part of this Rob Manfred deal, and then I'll get to Joey Kaufman, Ohio State beat writer, talking Lincoln Kienholz coming up. Rob Manfred said, if we expand, he said this last night on the broadcast, if we expand, it provides us with an opportunity to geographically realign the league. I think we could see a lot of wear and tear on our players in terms of travel if we don't realign the league. So what's that mean, realign the league? Well, that means like moving teams out of the divisions that they're in. The National League and American League have been this way since like 1901. Rob Manfred's talking about, he would say like this, you wouldn't have American League and National League. That's what he's talking about when he says realign geographically. So Major League Baseball fans, you would get, like, here's one for you. Cubs, White Sox, Twins, Brewers. That'd be like Midwest. Cubs, White Sox, Twins, Brewers. Would you like that? How about this? Pacific Coast, West. Rockies, A's, Mariners, Giants. Rockies, A's, Mariners, Giants. These would be the new geographic divisions in Major League Baseball. West Coast, Angels, Dodgers, Padres, Diamondbacks. And then you'd have, let's go to the East. Red Sox, Mets, Yankees, Phillies. Now, people would just love that. Red Sox, Mets, Yankees, Phillies. People would love that. Here's a North one that they threw out. Reds, Guardians, Tigers, Blue Jays. I don't know. I'm not going to, I don't know how far this is going to go, but he threw that out of the broadcast on ESPN. If they expand the league, the next step would be to kind of shift geographic, realign the league, and you could do away with the American League, National League, and just do it off of geography, have like 16 teams per conference. Then you'd have playoff teams built out of that, and so you would get rid of the American League, National League. Does that matter to you anymore? I mean, they play each other all the time anyway. The interleague they play each other all the time anyway, but it would be odd. For me as a Cubs fan, Cubs, White Sox, Brewers, Twins? I mean, I guess I'd love to watch the Cubs and Twins a lot, I guess. Seems a little off. The Eastern Conference would be the best. Red Sox, Yankees, Mets, Phillies. Still not sure I'm with it. Keep an eye on that. Rob Manfred talking big changes potentially coming to baseball down the road. Threw it out over the weekend. Coming right back to Ohio State beat writer Joey Kaufman. He's in live next from the Columbus Dispatch talking, where does Lincoln Kienholz land on this Ohio State team now? He didn't get the starting quarterback job. What's the kid from Pierre do next? Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0 zip zilch, with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's August 2027. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with zero regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
GM certified pre-owned at Danny Manhole Rapid Chevrolet. Shop over 350 used cars, trucks, and sport utilities, and buy with no money down and make no payments for 90 days with qualified credit. All credit apps accepted. Choose from Chevys, GMCs, Rams, Fords, imports, and more. Over 350 of them. You could buy with no down and no payments for 90 days. See us at Danny Manhole Rapid Chevrolet or DannyManholeRapidChevrolet.com.
Ever dreamed of building something amazing? Builders First Source in Rapid City, Spearfish, and Hot Springs is your go-to building materials partner. Whether you're building new or giving new life to an old space, we provide step-by-step guidance from drafting and cabinetry design to lifelike visualization and top-quality materials. It's your vision, and we're here to make it real. Visit BLDR.com. Builders First Source, your Black Hills partner in building every step of the way.
Your sports, your show. From East River to West River, this is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown
Show. Welcome back in. The Nate Brown Show is on Fox Sports Radio, South Dakota Sports Talk Show Live. Glad you're here. Remember to follow us on X at Nate Brown Show. Let's see if we've got him. We had a little technical difficulties, but let's see if we've got him here. Joey Kaufman trying to get on from Columbus Dispatch. Joey, can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
Okay. I'm doing good now. We got you in, so we're making it tonight. Joey Kaufman covers Ohio State and, of course, the Lincoln Kienholz story from Pierre, South Dakota. He's been in a quarterback battle, and Ryan Day announced it today that Julian Sayen's going to be the number one QB for the Buckeyes. Lincoln Kienholz is the second QB. As you worked through this, Joey, how did it break down to you? Why do you think Ryan Day went with Julian Sayen?
I think coming into this competition, Julian Sayen was always the front runner. At least just you go off where they were last year. Lincoln was behind Julian on the depth chart. And Julian Sayen was the number one ranked high school quarterback prospect in the 2024 class. There's a lot to like about his skill sets and the way he can throw the football. And Ohio State's roster is constructed as such where you want to be able to throw the football. You have great players on the perimeter, and Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, and just a surplus of wide receivers. And I think makes someone like Julian Sayen very attractive for them to start a quarterback.
Okay, I look at it and say, why do you think it went this long? I mean, there's a couple of weeks out. The opener against Texas is coming up. It seemed like a real quarterback battle. Do you think Kienholz was close? Why do you think it went this long?
Ryan Day said after practice this morning that it was a close battle, and I think Lincoln is somebody who was able to make it close because of his overall athleticism and also just experience. He's been with the program for 2 years now, and I think has a good understanding of what Ohio State wants to do when it's on offense. This is the typical timeline for when Ryan Day wants to announce a starting quarterback. Justin Fields and C.J. Stroud were both named the starting quarterback 12 days before Ohio State's season opener, and 19 and 21 respectively. And this is on that same timeline. It's exactly 12 days before the Buckeyes face Texas. They've gone through training camp. They get a quote-unquote mock game week, and then they get the actual game week. So this is typically how they've sort of progressed along with these quarterback battles over the years. There are some exceptions, the Kyle McCord versus Devin Brown, but typically they get settled between 12 to 16 days, about that 2-week mark for the opener.
Joey Kaufman covers Ohio State, the beat writer, Columbus Dispatch. Find his work at dispatch.com. He's been covering the Lincoln Kienholz story, the quarterback out of Pierre, South Dakota, named number 2 today. So Lincoln's got, I've had him on the show. I think he's a high-character guy. He's a really good athlete. He's a leader guy. Does he have a pretty good shot here, meaning how does Ryan Day treat his starting quarterback? If Julian Sayen struggles in the first 2 against Texas, whoever, how does he treat a starter if the quarterback battle is close?
They have really not been in that situation all that much. You look at the way they've had quarterback competitions go, and then when they've had a starter go into the season, typically the starter has kind of run away with things. I mean, Fields and Stroud were Heisman Trophy finalists in their first year. They're probably Kyle McCord and Will Howard maybe weren't at that level, but you typically saw them get plenty of room to grow into their role. But neither of them made a ton of mistakes, and Will Howard, somebody who ultimately leads Ohio State to a national championship. I think McCord is probably maybe our best look into the question you asked. Just what if they are not maybe at the level they won that season in 23? They brought along Devin Brown, the backup, into some situational packages, some short yardage packages, and maybe that's the way they could try to use Lincoln Keenel this season. Is he's an athletically gifted quarterback, and maybe they want to be able to run the quarterback a little more, and you use him in some of those situations. Ryan Day was asked directly about that today. He didn't rule it out. He kind of kept the door open, said that's possible. So he didn't dismiss it. He was open to it. And he said Lincoln in his heart knows he's going to play this year, and whether that's just as a sort of backup in the case of where Ohio State's rolling over a team, or where they really give him some looks for some series at some times when Ohio State wants to have a more mobile quarterback out there.
Interesting. Joey Kaufman covers the Buckeyes, Ohio State beat writer, Dispatch.com, live from Columbus, Ohio. Buckeyes named Julian Sayin the starter. Lincoln Keenholz comes in the second QB. So I'm looking at that's a tough test now against Texas. So I'm going to say if Julian Sayin doesn't play well against Texas, that's not going to say much, right? That's a tough bar right out of the gate.
Right, and you're playing a team that's really stacked defensively. As Colin Simmons, who was a freshman of the year in college football last year, is a good pass rusher, and going to be able to maybe get some pressure on the quarterback. And it's a 1 versus 2 matchup. So I think you have to grade a little bit on a curve for Julian Sayin, a redshirt freshman, making his first start. So I expect they're going to give him a chance to certainly grow into the role as the starting quarterback.
I want to ask you, Lincoln Keenholz has been around there now a few years, and people say in this day and age, well, if you don't get to be the starter now, I think you should just transfer. I've already seen people start saying that. I think that's pretty early on day one. But is that a factor? I just wonder, Lincoln Keenholz could play somewhere else. I wonder what happens if he doesn't see the field as a quarterback this year.
I mean, that's certainly possible because you look at the way the situation is. He has 2 years of eligibility after this year. Julian Sayin would have 3, so you're about now behind somebody on the depth chart who has more years of eligibility than you. I think it certainly increases the likelihood that you would explore your options through the transfer portal just based on that situation alone. But he has been a loyal guy up until this point. I think a lot of people maybe expected he would have transferred earlier in his career, but has stuck it out with Ohio State and really developed. He'll be in a situation where he can see how this year goes. Maybe Julian Sayin gets injured and he needs to play in relief, or there's a change for whatever reason. But however it shakes out, he'll be the number 2 and 1 snap away from getting onto the field. I think then you can sort of evaluate your options in December when the transfer portal opens. And that's something that Devin Brown did last year. He was the Ohio State's backup quarterback behind Will Howard and eventually looked into the portal in the winter and transferred to Cal for a chance to compete for that job. He ultimately did not win that job. It was reported today. But you at least went somewhere where he felt he had a better shot to compete. So the same thing could happen with Lincoln, but he does have 3 years of eligibility left and then 2 after this year.
Okay, I want to get your read on a story you wrote about. So Ohio State, they publicize how much their staff makes, but then people say, well, we don't know how much the players are getting from this revenue sharing model. Explain that scenario. They're not releasing that. Do we have any idea what how the revenue sharing goes with the players?
No, and that's the way it really has been throughout the country, where at every FBS public school what the head coach is making, what the offensive coordinator is making, and now you have the House settlement, which went through and allows schools to pay players directly in the form of these revenue-sharing contracts, or as many of them classify as NIL payments, but those have not been publicized. News outlets, including the Dispatch, have filed records or requests for copies of those agreements, but they're being withheld on account of the student privacy laws, and the schools have cited FERPA and in compliance with that federal law for not including those records, which identify students, and that is sort of the ongoing debate whether those should be public, because typically in the case of a lot of student records, those are not made public. But this is a case of you have a public institution, and they're directing money to certain individuals, and typically those sort of things are known. So this is just sort of a case of the new era in college football stuff being figured out on the fly.
Yeah. Very interesting reporting. We've been following it. Lincoln Kienholz from Pierce, been in the battle for the quarterback job at Ohio State. He's named the number 2 today by Ryan Day, 12 days out of the Texas-Ohio State opener coming up next weekend. Joey Kaufman covers the Buckeyes. We'll try and get him on throughout. Dispatch.com for the Columbus Dispatch. Joey, thanks for hopping in South Dakota. I appreciate it.
Good talking to you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot. Joey Kaufman on the Nate Brown Show here on South Dakota Sports Talk Show, Fox Sports Radio. Columbus Dispatch, Ohio State beat writer. Good coverage from him. He's on X at Joey R. Kaufman for the Buckeyes coverage, and Dispatch.com from Columbus, Ohio. So there are worse places to be than number 2 at Ohio State. There are worse places to be as number 2 at Ohio State. Because I've seen people already. Lincoln Kienholz, he didn't get named the starter at Ohio State. Well, he's going to transfer. He should transfer. He should do that. Let's just relax for a second. Just for a second. I've had Lincoln on the show, interviewed him, heard about him in Pierre from his coaches and people that know him. Just quality character, good leadership, really good athlete. I mean, he's just solid. Played all these different sports, not because he was talked into it, but like he just wanted to. Multi-sport, just wanted to play baseball, didn't worry about getting dialed in. Oh, man, I'm going to quarterback at Ohio State. I'm not going to finish out my high school career. I'm going to head out of here, like a lot of guys. So I think he's a quality guy. I don't know what he's going to do. I would say just relax. That's just my read on this. And I sure wouldn't think he would say anything till after this season. And I don't know what happens now. He's got 2 years left after this year of eligibility. So does he transfer somewhere and play somewhere? Because he did be named the number 2 today behind Julian Sayin, a redshirt freshman who initially committed to Alabama and then transferred to Ohio State. So there are worse places to be the number 2 at Ohio State because, again, what if Julian Sayin doesn't play well? That's the thing. If it's a quarterback battle, if it was close here, like Ryan Day said, it has been close. Julian Sayin kind of always had the advantage. Number 1 ranked guy coming out. He went to Alabama initially and then transferred to Ohio State. So it's a tough road, but I would just relax a little bit. Let's hang tight if you're Lincoln Kienholz and see how this plays out. Listener text coming in on our Major League Baseball segment. If Major League Baseball were to get rid of the American League and National League and they did geographic realignment, if they expand the league, Rob Manfred talked about we could go, it gives us an opportunity to go geographic. Listener text said, where would the Braves be? What about the Braves? The Braves, they project, would be in the Southeast Division. Here it is. Are you ready? Atlanta Braves, Miami Marlins, Nashville, the expansion team, Nashville, and the Tampa Bay Rays. The Braves say, Braves, Miami Marlins, Tampa Bay Rays, Nashville. You like that? I would assume you like playing against the Phillies and Mets. That's what I would assume. So let's be careful on the wacky stuff from Rob Manfred here. All right. Matt Christensen's coming up next. He's the head football coach for a Brandon Valley program that's just been really, really good. Can they get on top? They went to the Dome, couldn't take out Lincoln. Brandon Valley trying to get back in there. Matt Christensen coming up.
This is the Nate Brown Show.
There's nothing like it. Not for hundreds of miles in any direction. A gathering space for all kinds of people from all kinds of backgrounds. To share, to revel, to stand together and celebrate life's greatest moments.
We are number one, so you can always be their number one. Black Hills Surgical Hospital and Black Hills Orthopedic and Spine Center. The number one hospital in the nation for major orthopedic surgery.
It's time for an upgrade, and don't spend a dime for 2 years. That's right, 0 zip zilch, with no money down, no interest, and no payments for 24 months. That's August 2027. Say goodbye to drafts and outdated design, and hello to our acclaimed replacement windows and our stunning ensemble entry doors. Get energy-efficient windows and doors and beautiful upgrades with zero regrets. Call today or visit RBARapidCity.com to book your free estimate.
What do you call a place that's one of Deadwood's largest casinos, but is it really a casino? Because you can't decide, should I play or eat or wait, there's a liquor-infused ice cream bar? I mean, you're playing craps 1 minute and the next you're looking at a charcuterie board? What even is that? Never mind the gunfight outside, you don't have time for that. You've got espressos to down and games to bet on and a pub with 48 whiskeys? What do you even call a place like that?
TV, security systems, or cell booster systems, why would you look at a company that only gives you one choice for each of these systems? Wirefree USA offers it all. Viasat, Hughes, CenturyLink, Dish TV, DirecTV, Wilson Cell Booster Systems, and now Starlink and Equistar Internet Systems. Starlink and Equistar are the newest, the fastest, and the strongest satellite internet made. No limit, no contract. Wirefree USA has it. Call 605-341-5361. Whatever your home or business needs are, call Wirefree USA for the products and the service. You don't need training wheels with our system. Connect to the future with Wirefree USA at 605-341-5361. We are hometown, we are South Dakota, and we do appreciate your business. 605-341-5361. See us at our new location, 710 North La Crosse Street in Rapid City.
You're listening to The Nate Brown Show, also streaming right now on X. Follow us and watch the show live at Nate Brown Show.
Welcome in. Glad you're here tonight. Busy show as we start the week, and we're ready for high school sports. It is underway, man. It's that time of year. Kids heading back to school. Kids already been doing the work for high school sports in the off season, and then now everybody's back at practice. So here we go, off and running for the 2025 season. The Nate Brown Show trying to hop around South Dakota, get you some updates on some of the top programs like Brandon Valley football. Now the Lynx football program has just been rolling. I mean, it has been rolling. I put them in my category of one of the best brands in high school football right now in the state. I put them up there. Pierre, Winter, Brandon Valley for the success they've had at the top level. So that's where I put them. They're trying to get back in the dome. Well, they had a great season last year. Great season. Lincoln just got them. Where's this team going to be this year? Matt Christensen, head football coach for Brandon Valley, back on the Pizza Ranch studio hotline. Coach, good to have you back. How are you?
I'm terrific. Just had a wonderful practice, and just really proud of our kids for doing what they do.
Okay, you tell me, what do they do? I mean, I put your program as one of the top programs in the state, any class. I believe that because you've been consistent. How has it been consistent? It's got to take players, but coaches, a culture. Coach Garrow was really something. So what happened here?
Yeah, it goes back to Glenn Selvold, 1979, winning a state title, even though they weren't official yet. Mike Kleindens in the 80s and 90s. Chuck Plummer, great coach. Chad Garrow, just tradition and building on it, expectations. We got a lot of banners, at 9 total in various classes as we've grown as a school. And we can just emphasize that and build on that and expect a lot out of kids. And people know that, so that they're willing to do what they have to do for the football program. And just today, the kids, we had them study film carefully, practice, and lift really hard together in a couple different rotations because we got such a big roster. We can't get them all in the weight room. And practice really hard, then condition really hard. We get our helmets off and got in the shade and ran as hard as we could to make sure that we're not paying a price in the fourth quarter down the road. We're in good shape. So it's just a ton of blessings, and we're proud of them, and we use them as all we can.
Okay, so at Brandon Valley, you lost a ton of seniors. I mean, I look at a program and say, wait, if you lose a ton of seniors, I think you're going to step back usually. So you lose a ton of seniors, but now you're bringing back still a few all-state guys still. It seems like you're filling that cupboard still every year. How many guys do you think, it's like, hey, we lose this many. How do you keep filling that?
Well, it's just having guys hungry and expect a lot. And, we've lost Landon Delaney. That's, a ton of catches and yards and touchdowns. We got to replace them, and we want guys eager to do that. And it might not be one guy; it'll be 3 pass catchers that going to have to ball out and help us, total up his yards and points. But you just keep guys keep recognizing any good thing they do, and keep correcting anything bad they do, and just make sure that they. Know what's expected, and we don't have to make anybody lift. They understand they have to have a shot on the roster on the depth chart, and that's been a fun thing to see and develop. And with linemen graduating like Lucas Feldkamp going to USD, we had to just look in the weight room and find the baddest apple we could find and get him going, and just keep rewarding kids for doing jobs, and they'll give you their best. Okay,
so that's interesting. Rewarding kids for doing their jobs. And what I mean by this is a lot of times in high school sports, if you got 20 seniors, half of them aren't very happy. And then so if you got 20 seniors, well, then down to the juniors, you're like, well, I don't get to play yet, so now I'm not happy. How do you keep guys happy? Because not all these guys have played, but now they're ready to play.
Yeah, good question. Just recognize them in the hallways as scout players of the week. If a senior's not going to get on the field, make sure he's got a chance to be a signaler, or make sure he's in the pictures and he gets the same gear and gets fed the same team meals and gets the same respect and gets we get some social media recognition going. That can't hurt. We're on Instagram and X, and we've got a Facebook group as well, and kids just want to, they deserve recognition too if they're pouring in the same time and energy and enthusiasm toward the winning cause. Yeah. And we just, want them to. We understand that professional football might be possible for the rare kid, but we want them being all professionals in something, and that's being great adults too.
Okay, that's interesting. You've got a good program going, a lot of guys out. Brandon Valley lost a lot of guys, but now a lot of people think you're going to be one of the top teams in AAA football, Coach. What do you think about your guys up front here? Talk about the 2025. People think you're going to have a good front four, good defensive line, good offensive line.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Yeah, we put a premium on that. We put a lot of our, salary cap. If you had a high school, you got to divvy up your positions. We try to put a lot of talent credit that toward those trenches, and we're in good shape. Offensive line with 4 returners, and They include Bryce Bangasser, who committed to Morehead State, and Callister Weiss and Isaac Mitzel. They're both about 275 and people movers, and they could play college football. Hudson Parliament naturally is our Iowa recruit, and he's just the all-time strongest kid we've ever had, and just loves to run and loves to block and get yards for his guys. And we're having Parker Coughlin play some offensive line too, and he's a big, strong kid. He's being really unselfish, moving over from defensive end, and up on the defensive front. It was tough to lose him there, and tough to lose some other really good players at graduation. But we got Makai Zocker and Anissa Ahmed and Cohen Hartz and Tone Ledbetter. We're going to keep those guys moving and twisting and slanting and make sure they're not sitting ducks to get blocked. And they get excited and fired up about that, and I do too.
I'll tell you, I would think as a head coach, you look at your O-line and your D-line, and you're like, man, we're sitting pretty good there. Doesn't that give you like some relief right off the bat?
Yeah, totally. Where I can trust that our quarterback's going to be upright and have some time and some vision, and that the running gaps are going to be there. And Levi Vescina just committed to USF here in Sioux Falls this morning. We're extremely happy for him, and he's going to get a lot of carries this year, and we're proud to have him. And it's been shown in practice. It's been hard to get to our own quarterback, and that makes me thrilled and concerned at the same time. But that's the fun part of scrimmaging, and iron sharpens iron. And when the offensive linemen tell me certain guys are hard to block, I listen. I watch those guys especially carefully, naturally.
Yeah, Matt Christensen, Brandon Valley head football coach, giving us an update on the Lynx and our Power 5 poll that just came out. Coach, this is for all the teams and the fans to look at. Okay, who's going to be good in the preseason? Everybody's trying to guess. You guys sit at number 2. Sioux Falls Lincoln, who won the title here back-to-back, they're number 1. Who do you think in AAA you've got your eyes on? People are kind of saying, well, not sure about Harrisburg. They might be pretty good too. What do you think about AAA out there?
Yeah, the Metro's going to be really tough. Jefferson's got plenty of players, starting with Whiting and great coaching, and Harrisburg's got a highly talented tailback and Hines and a bunch of other fast, quick, athletic kids that can really get things done. And Lincoln got it done in the Dome, and returning the quarterback and a bunch of the receivers. And they're going to be a major contest, major problem, and great competition. I'm positive, and we just hope to give them our best effort and put all we got out in the field, and let the results speak for themselves, and finish when we got to finish. There's going to be tons of tight games and tough competitions, starting with Washington August 29th.
August 29th is coming up soon, a couple of weeks away. The big schools get going next weekend. 9-man and 11B get going this week. High school football underway. Our preview with Brandon Valley tonight. Matt Christensen's the head coach for the Lynx, a team to watch, no doubt. Coach, good to have you. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you again.
Take care, Nate. Thank you.
Appreciate you coming on. Matt Christensen, Brandon Valley, head coach. That program's one of the top ones in the big school class, no doubt. No doubt. They've been consistent for a long time. Talking Lynx football, who's it going to be in AAA? South Dakota Power 5 poll just came out. We're going to put that out every Monday. And we've teamed up with a lot of writers and broadcasters, a couple of former coaches who vote in this as well, East River and West River. Brandon Valley comes in at number 2. So the AAA rankings, number 1 Lincoln, Brandon Valley 2, Harrisburg 3 is how that looked today. Coming right back, who's hot and who's not? There's an update on South Dakota State. What do you think of this? Coming up.
This is South Dakota's Sports Talk Show.
Hunting season's just around the corner. Time to gear up with the best names in the business at prices that will not be beat. Like a WildView 16-megapixel trail cam for just $34.99. The Big Game 16-foot Warrior Pro tree stand is on sale for $149.99. And take aim and comfort with a Hawk Big Denali luxury blind chair for just $134.99. Stop in for these hunting specials and more at your local Fleet Farm. And check out all our weekly deals at fleetfarm.com.
I started doing it once in a while. Just for fun in the car with my friends. And yeah, I knew it was deadly, even illegal, but I didn't care. I remember looking down, and she was crossing the street, and I saw her just before I killed her.
Addiction has many faces. Texting and driving when you know it's life-threatening and illegal can be one of them. Take back control. Put the phone down.
Brought to you by the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, the South Dakota Broadcasters Association, and this station.
I am here with Weston and Denise Chapman from Black Hills Tire.
We're the neighborhood shop for the whole town because we will pick up and deliver anywhere in town. We will do whatever we can to help anybody.
It's important to us that somebody can say like, hey, my mom needs something. They need this and I know you'll take care of them. I think that means more to us than anything is when somebody will say like, I need somebody in my family taken care of and I know you guys will take care of them. And that's just because that's community to us.
If we all help each other out, we can create this community together.
Check us out at blackhillstire.com.
Here's your Fox Sports Rapid City forecast. A severe thunderstorm watch continues until 9 p.m. tonight. Lows level off around 65. Tonight, under mainly clear skies, winds out of the west 5 to 10 miles per hour. Mainly clear skies again tomorrow, daytime highs approaching 92. Lows around 66. Tomorrow night, clear skies. That's your forecast on the Black Hills Sports Station, Fox Sports Rapid City. Currently, it's 79 degrees.
It's officially patio season in downtown Rapid City, and there's no better place to soak up the sun and the good vibes than at Que Pasa Mexican Cantina. Tacos, tequila, burritos, and beer, and good vibes all day long. Que Pasa is your hometown hangout, and we have a smoking deal for you. Mention you heard Rob on the radio and score a $2.99 house margarita any day, anytime. Limit 1 per customer per day, so don't miss out. Offer available for a limited time. Swing by, sip something special, and celebrate the season at Que Pasa Mexican Cantina.
Great news. I just got the State Farm personal price plan on our home and auto insurance.
You told our agent about my thing for romance novels?
No, you don't have to get that personal. Our agent just helped me choose affordable options to create a personalized price just for us.
Oh, sweet. Then you won't believe the love triangle Jen is in now.
Contact me, State Farm agent Scott Carlson, to create your personal price plan today.
Prices vary by state. Options selected by customer. Availability and eligibility may vary.
Hey golfers, have you experienced Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club? Golf Digest ranked Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club the #1 public course in South Dakota. Off Exit 17 in Spearfish, Elkhorn Ridge offers a golfing experience second to none. Play their 18-hole championship layout with your buddies. Stop into Miller Creek Pub for some drinks, or bring the family out for lunch and try out the new putting green right below Miller Creek Pub. Elkhorn Ridge Golf Club has it all. Book your next tee time at elkhornridgeresort.com.
Live callers, big-time interviews, and breaking sports news. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, The Nate Brown.
All right, welcome back in. Fun show to get it started tonight on a Monday. Great guests across the board from high school to college to the pros. Try and get you covered here tonight from the Vikings to South Dakota high school football. What a Monday show on the Nate Brown Show. Podcast getting ready to go up. We got to wrap up the show as we do every night at this time. Who's hot and who's not? Brought to you by the Pizza Ranch, home of everyone's favorite buffet tonight at the Pizza Ranch. In my Who's Hot category, let's get a score update. I've got it. Top of the fourth, Sioux Falls Little League is up 1-0 over Fairfield, Connecticut. This is dicey. Fairfield, Connecticut's already won 2 games. Sioux Falls needs to win tonight to get into the semifinals of the Little League World Series. So I thought this was going to be a tough game. It is. But Sioux Falls has pushed across 1 run. They've only given up 1 hit. Sioux Falls has a couple innings left to hang on. Stay tuned. In my Who's Not category tonight, South Dakota State's playing the Montana Grizzlies in football in Las Vegas in 2029. Are we even going to be around? I hope so. Should have played it at South Dakota State. The Grizz are scared. See you tomorrow.
It's the geometry teacher who mans the ticket window.
It's the